So before we begin, this is an actual theory, not just a joke like the last video about the King of Diamonds was. It's not April Fool's anymore, can't make that joke. During the Emerald Nightmare, players fought Il'gynoth, a fabrication of the old gods. One of his whispers was, "The King of Diamonds has been made a pawn." This raises a question. Who is the King of Diamonds? So far, there are two candidates. Magni Bronzebeard, Jaster Gallywix. Why do people think it's Magni? Well, it's pretty obvious. He's literally formed of diamonds, he was a past king under the mountain, and he has the ability to speak directly to the planet, something that the old gods also share with Azeroth. This makes Magni the most obvious choice. So why do people think Gallywix? Because he's rich and he flaunts his wealth. This is something that's written into cartomancy. A king of diamonds at cartomancy is someone that flaunts their wealth. With that said, Gallywix does this a lot, so a lot of people are like, ooh, I think it's Gallywix. However, I believe it's a stretch. Magni is still the most likely king in my eyes. Oh, but Dave, he's literally the King of Diamonds by definition. But audience, Magni has literally been called the King of Diamonds. That could be a mislead. I'm telling you, the likeliness of Gallywix being a direct pawn of the old gods is slim to none. The old gods have nothing to gain from allying with Gallywix. But you could say, oh well, the war, they want a faction war. I'm sure that this war between the factions would have happened anyways. With influence or not, Gallywix would have found Azerite and exploited it. It's in his character. He started to do this kind of stuff before. If you flash back to the short story about Gallywix, one of his quotes that he says in the book is, "If the world was to split in half tomorrow, I'd buy the Dark Portal, slap a toll booth on it, and charge refugees the last of their pocket change and rings on their fingers, a bite of their sandwich, and a contractual obligation to build me a rocket palace in the skies in the Grant. It's the Goblin way." Gallywix is ready to exploit world tragedies, and having a sword stuck in the world, that's a world tragedy, and Gallywix was full ready to probably exploit that, even without influence of anyone. It's not a surprise he found Azerite and started to mine it. The old gods need not waste their breath on him because they would have done it anyways. Their breath is much better suited for someone who can offer value, like Magni. Magni, on the other hand, has the ability to speak to the planet. For all we know, Magni could be talking to an old god, or perhaps all of them instead of Azeroth. This makes him very valuable to the old gods. If you have world domination, having someone who can sit there and talk to people because you are trusted is very, very good. You now have a trusted individual, both sides, that can speak directly to the champions of Azeroth without raising too much suspicion. Our characters, who are the biggest badasses in lore, we trust Magni. And so if you control the champions of Azeroth, you control the world. And by controlling Magni to tell things to these champions, you are controlling the champions, which means you have all the power on Azeroth. That right there is why Magni is more valuable than Gallywix will ever be, and it's why I believe Magni Bronzebeard is the King of Diamonds. Thanks for watching.